Over the last couple of weeks, the Indonesian game rating system has been struck within the Indonesian gaming community due to how abrupt and how broken the system is by the system itself being inconsistently applied within international storefronts that are applying the IGRS as well dictated by law, such as Steam. With the system itself has been somewhat of a infamously messy one due to how games such as Cyberpunk, Persona Royal 5, GTA 5, and even sometimes as games that even though industry these games has been listed as not fit for distribution, games that are definitely does not contain the same mature material such as Cyberpunk and GTA, games such as A Space for the Unbound, which is a local Indonesian game, got treated of a dangerous game being 18 plus, despite the game itself, from what I can also gather from playing it, does not contain any mature material whatsoever. However, the system itself is pretty much being full of contradictions, to say the most politest way, as games such as hentai games in particular got rated as the most friendliest one of being 3 years plus, meaning as a 3-year-old you legally back then could access pornography games, and also GTA as well. Though this one is pretty much the definitive edition, in which it's also infamous for its shitty updates or a shitty release. But regardless, the IGRS system itself today and pretty much yesterday came under flame again due to of a leak that has been confirmed and also been reported by some news outlets of some games, such as the most notorious one being 007 First Light and Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag Resync, in which these two came into the news as both of these games got leaked to the public view due to their supposedly confidential materials before the intended release by the developers and or publishers. The 007 is the most impactful due to, at least by the statement of VGC, as the news outlet that shared the story of how this game is leaked through IGRS, is by the release of major plot points and as well major gameplay systems, in which there's pretty much a major red flag due to as it shows of a supposedly how vulnerable Indonesian cybersecurity framework with its government institutions, including Indonesian age rating bodies or IGRS. And despite there are no confirmed leaks of footages or pretty much any some sort of physical evidence or pretty much anything more than just of a trust me bro scheme, including also details from Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resync. The details has been essentially minimal, especially with the prime suspect for the release of such information is PGC. Though PGC source itself is pretty much somewhat unreliable due to the lack of actual confirmation on where the materials actually reside, a developer or a staff within Riot Games share his experiences within the submission of games to the EGR system itself, stating that the EGRs itself, in his eyes, is so I need to check the Google first, and that he stated that EGRs came through over each individual submission done manually, in which he stated that he shared their footage. He shared the footage of a game through a lockdown or a private Google Drive links, and just also from his words recently shared or given access to other team members of the EGRS board itself. And he also stated that it wouldn't be a surprise if said Google Drive links is leaked to someone else when the process itself is being reviewed or the game itself is being reviewed. And despite the high value leak this is, he also mentions that leaks are nothing surprising, as he also shares of how Korea's GRC system works, and that he Also brought a valuable note in which I will discuss later is that the IGRS team itself, or the team or board that has been responsible for reviewing 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 the games that are age appropriate for each audience within the IGR system itself is pretty much a small team. Small team with a big buttload of work under their noses. So this in this case will be a surprise for any of them to make any mistake. In which, or I should have said it much more clear that due to how nature of the team size as well for IGRS, it wouldn't be a surprise if the team itself made a mistake from here on out, or pretty much within the whole case itself. And that, despite that, he also brings out the note that IGR's intention is well sounded, though came under a heavy load of shit due to how much work that they need to put through with the small amount of resources that they have or amount of members that they have. I also like to bring some valuable insights into regarding Indonesia's cybersecurity framework as their history within the protection of data and pretty much the whole cybersecurity framework as well is pretty much minimal or pretty much awful, since there are pretty much some notorious leaks that has been occurring within Indonesia, and that's with the most high-profile cases is with the Tokopedia customer information leak, or Tokopedia's or leak regarding vital information on customers in Tokopedia, or pretty much a local Indonesian store in 2020, and as well as I believe the National Voters Commission information leak back in 2023, back in somewhere in 2023, making this pretty much a viable situation for the Indonesian government to tackle upon. And yet, despite that, they're pretty much, in my personal note, pretty much only sent just a few members that pretty much, I don't know, get sent into a heavy ass work that is not sustainable for the supposedly small numbers of teams that they're in. And despite with the release of Indonesia's law on protection of data, it's pretty much only within the private user information and doesn't really stretch much into something as international company information, or pretty much information that has been listed from international companies, or pretty much any companies within a system itself, within the system itself. So regardless, this is still a messy situation that Indonesia's government needed to make clear on to whether they want to resolve this, and they pretty much better to resolve this, or otherwise we got out of control, or otherwise it won't be a surprise if Indonesia's got pretty much known for being a Negara open source due to how much the rampant the data breaches that Indonesia has been experiencing within the last couple of years, starting from 2020. Regardless, this is my input. Regardless, that's pretty much on the whatever happened within a data breach within IGRS itself. That's it from me. See you later. If you want to have more content of this, don't hesitate to like and subscribe to expand my reach towards a much more broad audience. Sorry, I've never been doing this before. Just if you want to see more of this and want this channel to spread, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you have any evaluation of my videos, feel free to type it in the comments so that I can read it and pretty much take your information in mind, or your feedback in mind. Thank you all. That is it. Ciao, man. Ciao, man.